Alright, Brush Monkeys, welcome back. I'm getting into the assembly and preparation of these girls now. And as you can see, I've already got a fair amount of them done. I've finished the Canoness. Here, let me zoom in on her a little bit here. You can see there's a lot of detail on her. A lot of stuff to be painted. It's all going to look good. I'm thinking a good chunk of that is going to be Vallejo Liquid Gold. I think it's going to look really fantastic on her. And then I've got most of the Battle Sisters done. The company of just the Battle Sisters themselves. The standard bearer here is the only one so far with a helmet. All the rest have options to do helmets or not helmets. Oh, come on, focus. Come on. Sometimes it wants to focus, sometimes it doesn't. But you can see, again, a lot of detail in there. Maybe doing Vallejo Liquid Gold on that one too, for at least some of the standard. Some of that reliquary she's got going on there. But I want to take a moment and talk about the assembly of these girls. That there are, there's some monopose. There's not a whole lot of flexibility in the positions of the arms and the pose of the figures like there are with Space Marines, where you can decide maybe this guy's got a flamer instead of a bolter, or this guy's got a heavy bolter, or this one's got a helmet or not a helmet, or this one's got a different kind of backpack, or what have you. These are all fairly straightforward. This piece goes here, this piece goes here. And so you end up, because there's two of the small sprues, the little B sprues here, you end up with two figures that look alike a lot of the times. And that was the case with this one here. I'm going to zoom in on her. This one, you can see she's got a bolter. She's kind of got her feet planted, and she's kind of leaning back a little bit. Now, she's the one that I'm going to use this muzzle flash effect with. I'm going to paint that in shades of red, yellow, and orange, and you can kind of see how that's going to go on the end of her bolter and look like she's just banging away with it. It's going to look pretty badass. But at the same time, I ended up with another sister that had the same pose, because it came off the same sprue, just it came off the other sprue. So what I did was, on this one, and I'm going to demonstrate a little bit when I go to work on the two figures I'm working on now, is you can kind of see she's facing a different direction. This one that's going to have the muzzle flash on it is facing in the direction she's going to fire. Okay, this one's facing away from it. So it's the same pose, but just that little difference in the direction of the head makes it go from a dynamic pose to a static pose. This one's actively firing, this one's standing here looking for her next target or shouting directions or something. And that can be done with a lot of them. When you go to put them together, you'll see that there's a little, I hope you can see that, there's a little square hole. Whoa, that went in way too far. Let's back that up a little bit. Come on. Get the light up where you can see it. There you go. You can see that little square hole there. Goes on the head. Has a square peg on it. I'm going to cut off the head for this one so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. The bottom of the head has this, come on, focus. There we go. Has this little square peg at the bottom, and that's going to go into the head hole. Now, if you want the head, again, this was two figures with the same stance. So you got that one running at you, and then you got this exact same pose off the other sprue, okay? So maybe I don't want the head facing that direction. Maybe I want it facing a different direction. Well, that's pretty easy to do. You just take your cutters, all right? Let that camera focus in a little bit. There we go. Take your cutters, cut that little stump off of there. And you can get some really fancy files, metal files and whatnot, and I have some of those. I just use a plain old nail file. I mean, this thing's emery board. You can get them for like a pack of 20 for 50 cents. Some ridiculous price like that. And just file that off, okay? So now, when I go to glue this girl on, I just put the glue in the head socket here, and face her head a different direction. Maybe now she's running lateral to her target, and back that up a little bit. Come on. This thing is really not cooperating with me with this autofocus. Anyway, let's just back it all the way out. So anyway, now you can see that kind of see. There we go. Now you can see she's running, but she's looking in different directions, like maybe something's coming in from the side at her. Or she's preparing to shoot at something off to the side. So that's it. Just a little change in head position changes the dynamics of the pose and makes them not look like they're all cookie cutter figures. And there's a lot of them like that. The two of the Seraphim are on the same sprue, so there's two of them that are going to have the same pose. There's I'm going to try to do something different with the Penitent engine. Like right now, the Penitent engine is kind of running, and I don't like that pose. I want it's a heavy machine. That makes it look like it's too fast. It's a heavy machine, so I think I'm going to take this back leg here and move it forward and maybe have it standing on a pile of debris. So it's got both feet flat on the ground, and then both arms are going to be facing forward with these flamers on top. I'm going to see if I can pull that off. So that should be interesting to see if that'll cooperate with me at all. But that's a little ways down the line. So I just wanted to touch on that. That's one of the little tips and tricks you can get from get a little bit of customization just out of monopose figures. And there's also usually with Space Marine kits, you get a lot of extra, like, purity seals. I've got this whole tray of just purity seals and honors, and there's little Alright, I'm back, and I want to touch on, I'm starting to assemble the Seraphim, and this is what their backpacks look like. I'm going to see if I can try and zoom in a little bit on this again. You can see, this is what their jetpacks look like. So these little exhausts here are what the jet fumes are coming out of. I'm going to try to do, if this thing could focus in again, I'm going to try to do a kind of OSL effect on those. There we go. I'm going to try to do an OSL effect on those when I get to painting them. But what I want to touch on here is the flight stands. This is what the end of the flight stand looks like. If it'd focus in. There we go. And this is going to attach right like that onto that backpack. And this is going to cause a number of problems because the Seraphim weighs quite a bit more than what that little joint will hold. So I'm going to show you a quick tip on how to deal with that. You see where the flat end of that thing is? Right there. If I can get it on camera. See where the flat end of that thing is? And then where it connects onto the backpack. I'm going to drill a little hole in this, and then I'm going to drill another hole in there, and I'm going to take a piece of, if I can find it, a piece of this paper clip here. I'm going to cut that down and pin those two pieces together so that they'll hold a little more weight. So I'm going to go ahead and pause now and do that, and then I'll show you what the finished thing looks like, okay? Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I've got the, again, get the light up there so it'll focus in. You can see I've got the pin, you can barely see the pin in there, which if you've done it right, is exactly right. And then the pin goes deeper up into the backpack. So this is the way that's going to hold for that. And then I just need to glue that part onto the back of the Seraphim. And this end of the base goes onto the scenic base, but I need to paint that first because you can see through that. So I need to paint the scenic base, and then this will be the first Seraphim. If you're wondering why it's kind of shiny and wet looking, it's because I use back the camera out here. I use this Litco Insta Set, which what this does is basically a fast dryer for super glue. And I use Zap-A-Gap cyanoacrylate glue. So you basically just glue that, and then you spray the stuff on there, and it sets the glue really fast and makes it go by faster. So you're not standing there holding two pieces together for 10 minutes and then find out it's not going to hold. So there you go. Pin your backpacks to the flight stand before you do anything else, and that actually balances out. So that'll stand there by itself without the Seraphim on it. Now, as far as whether or not that's going to work for painting, I don't know. So let's try a little experiment here. I know that's not going to hold it by itself, but okay. So, all right. So if you use the Citadel paint handles, pry the jaws apart and put the base of the flight stand down in between the jaws. And that'll hold it like that, and that'll be just perfect for priming and painting that by itself, and it won't fall over. And I've got 5 of those and 5 of the bases, so that'll work out perfectly for the Seraphim. So there's some little tips and tricks for you for assembling and painting your flying models. I would imagine that probably works for the Space Marines too, although I kind of learned it while I was working on the Space Marines, and so picked it up too late to actually do me any good. But there you go. I'm going to get back to work, and we'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, as you can see, we're back, and as you can see, we've got there are some differences to the Penitent engine. This is the way it was supposed to look in the guide, and it's got the kind of running pose with its arms flailing around. I didn't like that pose. I thought it needed to be more stationary and solid, and so I put it together in a more static pose, which brought that leg forward and also necessitated putting something under that leg, so I put a little piece of scenery on the already scenic base. This is just a piece out of my bits box. And I'll probably put some other little bits on here and there on there just to liven it up a little bit. And I wanted the arms brought forward where he could use the flamethrowers on there. Now I noticed that, you notice the body's not done here. I had to do the body in a few different assemblies because this piece here has got all these little fidgety mechanical bits, little Gothic bits to be painted in there, and once you put it on the figure, I'm just going to slide it in there to demonstrate. It goes on like that, right? Well, now all that stuff around the back here can't be seen in the can't be seen when you paint it. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about here. See all those little bits in there, now you can't get to them, right? And also all these little bits around here, when you put this front part on, it goes on like that. Now you can't really reach them or hardly see them either. Okay, then this little fidgety bit goes on under here, and that's going to be kind of weird to try to attach. This piece goes on right there, I think. Yeah, goes on like that, which means you can't take this part off or reach some of the parts on that. So because there were so many bits of it that required, oh, you need to paint this before you put this on, you need to paint this before you put that on, I just did the whole thing in sub-assemblies as much as possible, so that now I can paint this, I can paint this piece and this piece and this piece and this piece all separately, and then put them together once I get them done. So like I said, I know that seems fiddly as hell, and honestly, these sisters there were a lot of fiddly bits in these parts. But you can see I've got the Repentia done, I got the Arcoflagellants done. The Repentia Superior is just a hell of a great model. I'm going to zoom in on this because she is just, this is one gorgeous lady. And I'm digging the zoom feature on this thing. Come on, where are you at? Usually this thing wants to cooperate. Today it's not. There we go. Come on. Get that background. Come on. There we go. Get her in focus. But yeah, she's just got a lot of detail on her. A lot of detail on the backpack, the flames, the other whip, that whole big whip. This is going to be a lot of fun to paint. So there you go. That's the Sisters of Battle box set all assembled. In addition to doing the Penitent engine in separate steps, I've got the bases for the Seraphim here all primered and ready to go already. And I'll paint them separately and then glue the Seraphim on there. I've been given some thought as to how I'm going to paint these things, and I think it's going to be an interesting looking army when I get it done, because there's several different orders of the Sisters of Battle, and I'm going to do each one of these units as a different order. Like, I'm thinking I'm going to do the Canoness and the Battle Sisters as Order of Our Martyred Lady, which is black armor and red robes. The Seraphim, I think, are going to look better as the Order of the Ebon Chalice, I believe it is, which is black armor and white robes. The Repentia Superior, the Repentia and the Arcoflagellants are just kind of, they don't really have order colors on them, so they'll be a separate issue. But the Repentia Superior over there, I think, is going to be Order of the Wounded Heart, I think it is. That has black armor and black robes with red trim, or white trim inside. The Arcoflagellants, the Repentia, and the Penitent engine are all kind of their own thing, and so they'll all be painted separately. But yeah, that's the assembly done, and next week we'll go into priming these girls, and like I said, because of the different color schemes, I'm going to be priming them a little differently than usual too. So we'll get into that next week. For now, I'm going to wrap this up, and I will see you guys later. Hey Brush Monkeys, Tom from Flying Monkey Studios here. If you like what you see, click like. If you want to find out when new videos get posted, click subscribe. Comment below on what you want to see on future videos. Visit our Patreon site for lots of ways that you can support me in doing what I do. You can also visit our Instagram and Facebook pages to see all the miniatures that I paint on this channel, and see how you can get your hands on one of your own. So thanks a lot for your time, and thanks for watching my videos, and I will see you guys later. Bye.